all on this morning update show the day after, or actually in terms of hours, the day of the game and the aftermath of Manchester United. Let me explain what I mean by the title and everything before everyone jumps down my neck about Manchester United saving millions because COLLYER and AMASS and the academy players coming through are going to save United and be these world superstars. They are not. I'm going to talk in detail as to why and what I mean by that, just to clear that up for everybody. And obviously give you an update on the transfer situation and where we're at, everything that's happened from the game and what's been said afterwards as well, performance, ratings, things like that that have come from the game and people who were there. And we've had complaints about the pitch as well, Rasmus Højlund, the good and the bad, incidents with Euro, obviously both of them being injured now and possibly missing the rest of pre-season, which is not good. What does that do to affecting transfers in terms of other centre-backs go, trying to get other centre-backs in? And all of that mixed together, what actually is happening with Manchester United right now? Again, the concerns, the worries. I just look at it and go, you know what? There's not enough to really be panicking about. Let's just have a look at what's happened first. Let's go through all of the details this morning and then make a decision after that. Hello everyone in the chat already. Get your comments in. Give me a like on the video as well. Let's get another 500 likes on this video, guys. Please hit that like button and make sure that you are subscribing to Forever United TV for your updates. You won't miss a thing with United. Let's get into what's actually happened. Of course, Manchester United played in the early hours of the morning last night in LA. The SoFi Stadium. Straight away, people complaining about the pitch. Let's just put that to bed. Apparently, there was an announcement over the tannoy saying that it is a grass pitch and they're not playing on artificial surface. Some were saying how are professional footballers actually playing on Astro. It wasn't that bad, apparently, but still not ideal. We know the surfaces are different. We know everything is different over there in the States. The sports that are played there, the NFL and things like that, they don't require the same sort of turf as what we do for our football over here. But hey, look at it this way. Manchester United lost the game to Arsenal. We didn't officially lose the game because their goal was offside, so we can just put that to bed. People having a go at Harry AMASS because he switched off for that goal at the back stick. Well, he was playing the man offside and the officials missed it. So let's just finish that there. It was a draw and United won on penalties. Yay, good start to the pre-season tour in America. Let's go with that one. I want to talk about AMASS. I want to talk about COLLYER because they have been picked out for praise more than anybody else. Obviously, you get the players that come up from the academy shining on tours like this. The verdict on AMASS was pretty. It was pretty decent. It was very, very positive. We've seen the touches in the game that he had. He's seen the control he had. People were lauding him over social media of his professionalism, his sort of maturity beyond his years, regarding who he was up against, the players he was playing against did not look out of place. Yes, of course, and like I said at the top of the show, I want to explain that I'm not just saying Manchester United don't go out and buy a new left back, don't go out and buy a midfielder. I'm not saying that. I want to just make it clear that, you know what, if money's tight, if you're actually in a situation where you're not fully convinced by the players that you're buying, you don't want to spend too much money, don't go out now this summer and spend a fortune on a left back and a central midfielder, because you feel like you have to fill that gap. You've got players there that can actually fill that role for Manchester United. You're keeping Casemiro, for God's sake. He's one of the best midfielders on the planet. Let's not forget that. You've got COLLYER coming in as well. You've got Kobbie Mainoo to come back. So let's not go out and bust a gut and pay over the top. Keep to your guns like we are doing with PSG and Agate. Make sure that we don't overpay. And you know what? We'll be the ones that are better off for it. Yes, we need midfielders, but COLLYER wasn't there last season and he can come in and fill a role for Manchester United. Nobody was expecting Kobbie Mainoo to come through. There is that side of it where they may not make it. They may not make it. And I'm not saying they are going to make it. They're not world beaters now. They're not tearing it up in pre-season, are they, at all? But what they are doing is giving United an option and time. Time is everything right now. And someone like Omar Barada, like we've spoken many a times before, he did it at Manchester City. He did it continuously at Manchester City when he was not being rushed into deals. We have players there that can cover them roles for now and then maybe just revisit it again next summer. Reassess everything, see where you're at. We may be able to move more players out next summer. The situation we're in right now is an awkward situation with everything that's going on with the football club. We've known this. Patience is key for all the fan base and everybody. The media will go in. They will go in hard. You know what they're going to do. We just have to look above it and say, we've got young quality players coming through there. Let them be the ones that fill them holes in. maybe in a Carabao Cup game, or like I said, at the latter stages of this Europa League new format that we've got, when we're already through, we don't need to be playing Casemiro. We don't need to be playing Bruno Fernandes. We can be playing Collier. We can be playing AMASS. We can be playing Mason Mount and all of these other players within the squad. This is down to Ten Hag to manage Manchester United's squad this season. I think we've got enough players. Don't go wasting money. I'm not saying that the players we're looking at are a waste of money. And obviously we have to look at the injury situation which has occurred last night. Again, and straight away, one pre-season game in, i.e. first one on the big tour with most of the first team there, and we get two big injuries. What's that, £130 million worth of talent off for the rest of pre-season? It does look quite concerning, and it does obviously hit the headlines as Manchester United's injury crisis strikes even before we've got started. But let's not forget, we've got Zirkzee to come back. We've also got Kobbie Mainoo to come back into the team, Garnacho to come back into the team. You've got Harry Maguire there at the moment. Obviously, we've been talking about Maguire and where he goes and what happens. His words in that interview that he said the other day just come right out again now, don't they? And they mean even more. It's like, I will go if the club want to move me on, but obviously the club are in situations that they're in now where you've got players that are getting injured all the time. You need to keep hold of maybe these players until next season when we can buy more players. All I'm saying is, when it comes to what we've got, the players that are in this squad, the young players coming through, they're not going to save Manchester United fortunes right now, but what they are going to do is save United a bit of time, I think. You don't have to rush into getting a left-back, definitely not. I don't think United should be looking down that area with AMASS. I think he definitely has got enough there to cover Manchester United. We've got Shaw coming back who's fit now, and Lazio will be fit by the time the season comes about again. And obviously you've got Dalot on the other side who's got to come back as well. So AMASS being added to that, I just think that Manchester United can take the time. They don't need to rush into going out and buying a left-back. We definitely need a midfielder in there. Collier, yes, get him in. If you can get a loan deal for Amrabat, worst case scenario. By the way, I'm not saying we're not buying Agate. I still think we're going to buy Agate. All I'm saying is we don't need to be paying over the top odds to make sure we get Agate. If PSG come back to United and say, no, it's still 70 million euros, you walk away. It's as simple as that. Don't overpay, because let's just be honest, Collier is just as unproven as Agate is in the Premier League. None of them have played Premier League football consistently, have they? So look at that and you go, look, Collier's got a teammate in Mainoo that's already through there. He's got another one in Garnacho that's made it. There's plenty of players around him there, younger players that he can learn with and adapt and move forward at Manchester United. Do we need to go back to the old days where we just have to be seen to be spending money? Otherwise, it's a shit window. No, it's not. Let's just take our time and just wait a window if we have to, if the right players aren't there for the right price. Don't go panic buying and then put yourself into more of a situation which is the same as what we're dealing with now, which is players that are just stuck around at Manchester United simply because they want to just stay on them wages and they're happy at United. It is the pinnacle. I've said this before. Players don't want to leave Manchester United. Simple as that. So let's not bring in more when we've already got too many. Let's make sure that the players that are coming through in the youth academy are the ones that get the chance, rather than these fringe players that we've all been complaining about are just overpaid, overhyped prima donnas. That's what we're saying. When you look into that game last night, or really this morning, whichever way you want to say, the players that came out of it with people singing praises, obviously AMASS and Collier doing well for young academy players. That's fantastic for Manchester United. And then you're looking at Mason Mount. He's come out with the biggest praise of all. He's got the best ratings that I've seen looking through all of the journalist ratings from last night's game. By far, the best player on the park last night. And it's a shame because that's the one player that Manchester United are not probably going to use that much, because you know what's going to happen. You know, Bruno Fernandes will be back next week, and all of a sudden, Bruno Fernandes is starting games. He's not going to drop Bruno Fernandes. And Mason Mount, the one player that we're all looking at to actually come forward and actually do better and prove his worth, he's not going to get a chance to do it while Bruno's around. And it goes back to that same question again. Can Ten Hag utilise what he's got in Mason Mount? Is there another place for him in the team? He's not a holding midfielder. You've already got Casemiro there. He's not a number 8 for me. You can squeeze him in at 8 if you want, but Kobbie Mainoo's there. And then you're looking at Bruno Fernandes in front of him there again. unless Ten Hag does start to rotate a lot of this team, then you're probably going to be looking at Mason Mount and going, I'm really happy for him, but is he actually going to get into this team? That's what we're looking at. That's the problem we've got right now. And I'm really chuffed for him, and I hope he gets his chance. You know what? I would love it if Bruno Fernandes was sat on the bench one game because Mason Mount's played really well. I would love that, because that would show that Ten Hag is definitely sending the message across that not one player in this squad, even if it is the captain, is safe. Let's not forget, Bruno didn't have a great Euros. He had a good end to the season for United, and he deserves to be in that first team and first name on the team sheet when it comes to that opening game against Fulham. I don't care what anybody says. But if Mason Mount sticks to it, keeps having these appearances, comes through, and Ten Hag gives him that spot back, I would love that. And everybody knows how much of a fan I am of Bruno Fernandes, but that's what Mason Mount has to keep doing. The problem that you get with that is it's like stop, start, not getting a good run of games in the team. Is that when it's hot and cold, and that's when injuries actually do come in more, and he's never going to get a chance to get over his injury, Mason Mount? That's another question you've got to bring into it there as well. But on that, it's one for Ten Hag to deal with, and it's a happy problem to have, I would say. So whereas a lot of people are talking about Euro, Rasmus Højlund, and the injury concerns from last night and the negative side of things, I still look at last night as a positive. Look, we won. It was a draw. We won on penalties. We had some good performances from young kids. Rasmus Højlund was talking as he walked off. The words were, "We'll see," when a journalist asked. I've got the story up in front of me here, actually. Højlund was tight-lipped when he walked through the mix zone following the defeat to Arsenal, while there was no signs of him limping, which is good. The Dane did not want to predict the extent of his injury immediately after the final whistle. He merely told reporters, "We'll see." And I think that's all you can do, because Ten Hag said the same thing. On both injuries regarding Euro and Rasmus Højlund, Ten Hag opened up and said, of course, it is too soon to comment. We have to wait 24 hours and then we will know hopefully more. We were very careful, especially with Lenny. He did only 50% from the sessions, and then it is very disappointing that he then has to come off. But let's be positive and see what the outcome is. The report from MUTV and a few other people this morning that I've read is that it's a sprained ankle, which is not the end of the world. Yes, it may be swollen, it may need time to heal. It does take him out of the rest of pre-season, and then is a question mark for the game in the Community Shield against Manchester City. So, strain, it's not that bad. I could tell by the way he was walking off. I've done my ankle several times. I sprained it. I've done the ligaments in my ankle. He would not be walking the way he was walking if he had done his ligaments. So let's just look at it that way. The pitch, I think that's why the pitch got brought under so much scrutiny from this morning's game. It was because like that ankle injury, and yes, surfaces do affect injuries like that, especially the ankle more than anything. I can completely understand where he is right now. It will feel very, very painful. A sprain is not nice, but it's not the end of the world. So looking at that, the fact that Rasmus Højlund is walking off with no crutches or anything like that, it showed great speed and strength. The Rasmus Højlund that everybody said was missing in the Euros turned up in that one there. The ball over the top for Marcus and straight onto it. Power pace right through, great finish. Good signs ahead. And then sadly, hamstring injury. He's just not going to be fit for the start of the season. But then you've got Joshua Zirkzee coming in as well. So it's not the end of the bleeding world. Let's not all go crazy. It's upsetting that we've got 2 injuries again after the 1 pre-season game, yes. But you know what? We will get over it. We've got a big squad. And there's plenty of players to come through into it as well. But yeah, so that's the update from the game and the injury side of things and everything. Don't panic too much. A precautionary for Rasmus. And obviously, it looks like a sprain for Lenny Yoro, so not the end of the world. You can see he was a bit upset having to come off. You would be as an 18-year-old coming on in such a big game like that against Arsenal, wanting to prove a point on the big stage. But he'll get time. He'll come back around from it, and Manchester United will still have Lenny Yoro, I feel, for the opening of the season. I don't think the sprain's going to keep him out that long. In terms of other news, transfer news, obviously, the journalists were all over the game last night. There is news from Sky about Manchester United now being very, very close in terms of negotiations with Mazraoui as well. So Them negotiations have gone on very well. They're moving very quickly, and talks have progressed to a very advanced stage now with Mazraoui. So it does look like that is going to be a signing that will happen. 100% will happen. I'm just going through all of the other news now as well regarding Agate and where we're at with that. Manchester United target Joe Neves is reportedly expected to join Paris Saint-Germain next week. The record claim that negotiations between Benfica and PSG agree on Joe Neves' transfer fee are approaching their end and aim the player to travel to Paris at the beginning of next week. This could help sanction Manchester United's departure from Paris of Manuel Agate. So yeah, that is all good and everything is in position there, ready for that one. What you're also looking at is the updates regarding, where was the other one now? I did have something else in there this morning, but yeah, no, it's mainly the stories that we had yesterday regarding Chalobah and that communication going on there. Still no updates overnight anyway on Matthijs de Ligt. I'm sure we will start getting news on that. With it being Sunday, moving into the week, I think tomorrow is probably going to be the day when we get more news regarding transfers. Of course, I will update you today anyway, if anything does break. Sunday is always a weird day, especially with the squad being away. But yeah, Mazraoui definitely moving forward negotiation-wise there. There is a meeting of West Ham for Wan Bissaka, so that coincides with the Mazraoui deal. West Ham are definitely in for Wan Bissaka. That is 100% happening. They are just looking to negotiate the price. Between 15 to 20 million is United's asking price. They're negotiating that with Manchester United. That will be confirmed and that will move that deal forward. In terms of people worrying about, like we said before, United being on tour, not much happened. Let's not forget, they're coming back home on Sunday. In a week, the tour's done. So, and like we said, we're now 2 weeks away? Yeah, less than 2 weeks away from Manchester United playing Manchester City in the Community Shield. So, yes, United are not out in the States for long. Less than a week in the back. So, yeah, let's not worry about that too much. 2 quick-fire games in between there. Hopefully we'll see more game time for some of the younger lads as well. And then we can get everyone back in training a week tomorrow at Carrington, where everyone looking ahead to the Community Shield and what's going on there with that. But yeah, quickly, let's get into some of your comments. I know you've all been waiting patiently there. I'm going to just go through a few of them before we finish up. Love the positivity, says Sean. Yeah, we've got to look at it that way. I'm not going to stress, like, the pre-season's pre-season for me. I've been there, done it, got excited because we've been doing well in pre-season, been a bit down because we're not doing well in pre-season. It means absolute jack shit when it comes to the start of the season. It just means nothing at all. I don't take it seriously. I hope we get through with no injuries. After one game, that kind of kicked me in the ass a little bit. But still, I look at it as a positive because we're seeing young lads come through. And the reason I'm positive and so positive about these young lads coming through this time is because of what's in place at United now. I said it before, like, Omar Barada will be sat there going, yeah, we're not bidding anymore. That's it. Like, we don't need to bid anymore on these players. We want them, the bids are in, but that's it. The price is not going up any higher than where it is right now. We've got players here that we can use this season. There's plenty of players in this squad. There's more than enough to get what we need to this season. Let's not forget, we're not looking to buy players that are going to win us the league next season. Let's look at it in stages. Let's look at it and go, have we got a good enough squad right now? If we still had a couple, and I do want a couple more players in, let me make that clear, to get into the top four. Yes, we do. We more than do. And there's no excuse not to. So that's the first stage. And then would you not be happier if we got into the top four, back into the Champions League, and then went out and spent a load of money on other players that are going to take us to that next level? That's how I see it, and that's how I see Ineos working this. They'll look at it and they go, no panic, we've got enough, we're okay at the moment. Yes, there's plenty of you that will argue that with me and say we need more players in. Just look at Scott McTominay yesterday. Look, Scott McTominay is a sub player. He cannot play 8, he cannot play 6, he can play 8/10 as an emergency substitution late in a game. You cannot win games or win anything consistently with Scott McTominay starting in the team, for me. But he's a squad player that can be utilised by Ten Hag when needed, like he did last season. So if he's not going to be sold this summer, he's there. That's it. I mean, it's hard because we want more players in and we want to kickstart this season with a bang, don't we? We want to hit the ground running, but I know what you're all saying. Scott isn't good enough, but right now, again, I'll keep going back to it. Give them chance. Give Ineos chance to actually sort this out. And a few windows is what it's going to take. I still think we're going to buy 2 or 3 more players this summer, though. So be patient with that as well. There's plenty of time left in the window. And obviously, we're very close with Mazraoui right now. I just think we need that. I think Mazraoui, a centre-back, and a centre midfielder, I think then we're moving. Let's see what happens from there, though. Before everyone and plenty are panicking, Cheaty lost again. I'm not sure what that is, Richard. No idea. City lost again. Cheater. Oh, you got him. Yeah, let's not forget, we got beat by Arsenal. And City and Chelsea both got beat by Celtic. Yeah, no panic, guys. And they had a lot of first-team players in there as well. So, yeah, let's just look at pre-season for what it is. And it's just a case of finding things out. You've seen the young players come through. I actually really enjoyed the outcome of the game. Apart from the injuries, I love what we've got right now. And going forward, I think it's a massive positive for Manchester United in this window that we're not going to fall into the same trap again. But yeah, that's flown by, guys. Sorry, it is your quick morning update. I will be back at lunchtime with more updates again, as usual, and then later on this evening for the Sunday evening show. So make sure that you do tune in for that. Give this video a like. Thank you, everybody. Make sure you hit that subscribe button as well. This is your morning update. We move forward with the day. And, of course, like I just said, we'll bring you any updates that come United's way over the course of the day. But, yeah, don't look at it too negatively. More positives, I would say. The injuries aren't that bad, and we're okay. Hopefully we can get through the Betis game on Thursday with no more injuries. God forbid. Guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you all.